Okay, Max. I just got home. Let's check it out. We got the Urk War Leader, and we got the Hammerhead Executor. We're trying to take it from the Urk High War Leader, and we're going to put it in the Hammerhead Executor. Nobody else can make it happen. Let's make it happen. I'm guessing they probably sent you to me because this one's probably really hard. So I bet we're about to have a lot of fun. That's usually the way these go. Either that, or a lot of people are really lazy. Okay, here's my request folder. I'm going to make a folder called Max. Alright, Max. I'm going to save the Urk War Leader. I'm going to save the Hammerhead Executor. Okay. Now that we did that, I just fire up your handy-dandy Retera Model Studio from wherever you're going to get it. Get any version that you like. I like version 0.03. Also, in your preferences, you can set your theme to whatever you want. You can choose Windows Classic. It's really simple. You know, it's a simple theme. We're keeping it simple. Okay, Windows Classic. Here we are. Let's check them out. Let's check them out. Models, request, Max. So here's the Urk War Leader. Okay. I can already tell that you didn't give me the texture on this one. Let's check it out. Yeah, there's a BLP called Urk High, and you didn't send it to me. So we already know that you're not a professional. That's okay. Nobody here is a professional. We got that. Seems to have a glowing eye. Okay, now let's go back to the prompt. We're transferring attack 1, attack 2, and stand ready from this Urk War Leader. Attack 1, attack 2, and stand ready. Now, is this model actually rigged? No, this is fine rigging. This is great. Okay. Let's check the other model. Hammerhead Executor. There's a different model. I mean, you can see it's similar, but just stand ready. This looks like it's trying to be a Blade Master, but it isn't. The first things first, let's click over here and let's open Recent. Let's get them both open at the same time so we can jump between them. That's just convenient. So we want attack 1, attack 2, and stand ready. And we want those in the Hammerhead Executor. So let's do file import from our workspace now that we have them both open. This used to be easier than it is. The reason I clicked in one of these guys is as soon as you have an undo history, it won't auto-close your file. I wanted it to be that people could browse like Rifleman, Mortar Team, Flying Machine, Griffin Rider, to like just browse through all these and only have the most recent one open. You can see it even closed the Urk War Leader because it's trying to close anything in here that you didn't change. It's really pretty annoying. But that means if you click in here, you can be sure that you have both of them loaded. So now we're on Hammerhead Executor for sure. Now I'm going to import from workspace. And so we know we have them both in the workspace because we did that, right? We're going to bring the Urk War Leader from this same workspace into the Hammerhead Executor. Let's do that. Okay. Our first option is if we want to transfer any mesh. Like, do you want to transfer over the weapon? The Hammerhead Executor already has a weapon, so we could just click Leave All. We don't need any of that mesh. So let's go to the animations. In our animations, we just want attack 1, attack 2, and stand ready. That's what we want. Let's double check the prompt. Attack 1, attack 2, and stand ready. Okay. Now we're going to go to the bones. This part is most important of all. If you click Motion from All, you get really the classic animation transfer. Now, curiously, you'll see there's a problem. There's a really obvious problem. These little diagrams in red here are to show you visually from the front what we're actually looking at. And what you can see is that somebody who made this model misnamed left and right. Okay? In the classic Warcraft 3 model and its design, the left is the left hand of the character. Right? And the right is the right hand of the character. But some model developers, as what we seem to be seeing here, they don't pay attention to that, and they use their left, the left hand of the model developer, as the one that they tag as the left in the model. This creates a model that's opposite all the others and transfers really badly if you do automated animation transfer. That's why I built this tool, so we can do a manual transfer, so we can be absolutely certain that we do it correctly. Now, I'm saying all this without doing any research before this video. I just downloaded this model. So let's do the relevant research to be really certain that what I'm saying is correct. I can already see, if I toggle on the R here, and this is the same thing we see in the little red diagrams, that in the Hammerhead executor, or apparently the file name internally is Gondorian Swordsman, but whatever this guy is, right? The one labeled right is the character's left. And this is why every animation transfer software in existence is going to fail. Because it's mislabeled. You could sit there and fix the labels. I'm not here to do that today. I'm here to do a transfer. So what you can do, if you hold Control, you can unselect this and unlink. The automatic default in my program is right goes with right, left goes with left. But sometimes, like right here, you can't do that. So we can control to unselect the ARM1R, unselect ARM1L, and then reselect them, linking them in the opposite. And so we're doing a swap of where the data is going. And we have to do this on everything that's labeled right and left, because the person who made this model made it backwards. Okay? The head is the same. The pelvis is the same. But we have to do this to the legs and the arms. So first I'm unlinking all of them. And now I'm going to link, like leg 1R to leg 1L. Which doesn't seem to exist. Oh, it's down here. It's out of order. Much fun. The order doesn't actually matter. The developers of MDLViz claim that if you actually force a particular order, you get better performance in-game. I've never researched that, so I always just leave the order whatever it happens to be, because it works fine. If you wanted to, maybe you could fix the order here so that leg 1L wasn't below foot L. But I don't care about that. So we're going to link leg 1R to leg 1L. We're going to link leg 2R to leg 2L. We're going to link foot R to foot L. We're going to link leg 2L to leg 2R, foot L to foot R, leg 1L to leg 1R. This is likely to be pretty successful, but it's always good to double check. You'll also note hand R, this hand R, which should go at this guy's hand L, has a problem that it wasn't going anywhere. There's nothing called hand R. So we could try putting that on the sword. I'm not sure that'll look good, but it's a decent heuristic for how we might expect that would look. I'm also noting another problem here. A very serious problem. And I didn't even think about. These two characters, I've got their weapons in different hands. So you gotta do something about that. Right? Because if you want this guy to animate like the other guy, you have to account for the fact that his attack 2 and stand ready, the weapons in there on him. Right? Now the easiest way to do this is to just decide that you're going to move the weapon. But clearly this character already has a lot of other attacks. And I don't know if I have permission to just ruin them all. I'm not sure about that. So, as we expected, this is going to be harder than I thought it was. For the sake of example, let's go ahead and finish what we were doing here. And then it won't work, and we'll have to fix it. So, hand R, you know what, let's not put that on the sword. We could actually put the weapon on the sword. That's way more logical. But still not great. We can link guts to guts, but we're probably not even going to use that link. Chest is already linked to chest. This dude has 2 chests. This just has 1 chest. Doesn't matter. Alright. That'd be pretty good. Matrices, only crazy people need to change these. You probably don't need to change this tab. Objects is like sound effects. If you were going for like a full transfer, you'd probably want the death sound. So that we don't need that here. Visibility, we just got to make sure that this guy's like guts thing. What is that? Just set 3. So we go to the hammerhead executor here. And let's turn off the nodes. You look at his mesh, right? Like 1, 2 are great. 3 down here, you don't want that to show in the animations that we're adding, right? So that's important. You don't want 3. 4, you don't want 5. 6 is good. 7 looks good. 8 looks good. 9 is good. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, so 3 and 5 need special treatment. Right? 3 and 5 are going to be not visible in the imported animations. Just hands down. We're just going to hide them. Everything else, you can probably just leave it. So you do that, and you just click finish. And like I said, it's not going to be right. But it's going to get us a start. Right? So as you can see, we got the body animation in here. But the weapon is not at all in the right place. Not at all. And you could try to make it look right. You know? If you go to this tool, and basically just drag a box around the weapon, and you turn on, that's right, left hand is right hand. Yeah, you turn on the sword, don't turn on the children though. So just this sword has this pink node. And you get that, and then I pressed A, it's the same as pushing this button up here, so I can click on this as a vertex, excuse me, without worrying about like deselecting the others or selecting too much. So if you put the weapon in the other hand, right, but you can totally do that, and you can set the parent to, does this guy even have a hand R? No, he doesn't. He has arm 2R. Does he? I think it's just arm 2R. And you do that, and it's much, much closer, right? Problem being, when you look at this guy, okay, his, it's just throwing me off. His left hand, this one's not backwards. His left hand has the dot on the fulcrum, and it tilts downwards. And so all the animation data is relative to that same positioning. So we have the, I think you call that the fulcrum, right? I don't freaking know. I'll look that up later. You can rotate this, but you're going to want that dot to still be on his hand, right? On the center of rotation. In fact, maybe we could even move it out a little bit and move the dot in his hand. So it's analogous to where it was in the other file. So that all rotations and all that, which are all relative, are relative to the correct thing. Now what you're going to see is we're getting closer. We're getting closer, but all right, let's drag this view. Woo. That's not supposed to happen. Reset my layout. Hey Cortana, reset my layout. Okay. Sorry, that wasn't supposed to happen. I don't know why that happened. I was going to try to say if we remove this preview view and we just put this preview next to the outline. Here you go. That's what I was trying to do. Now you can see the preview, but we can do it while in like T-pose mode, which lets us move this guy for all animations. We're just moving the static position, but we're moving it based on the bone, which is convenient for us. And so what we want to try to do is maybe like grab this one, move it into his other hand, right? So it fits like right there. Alright, so it's like going through his two hands. And what that ought to do is get, oh, we got to dismount preview, put it back in the other one. What that ought to do, and we bring preview back, I'm bringing preview back, is get it to where now attack 1 on this guy looks just like the other guy. Now, you would think that this is what you wanted to do. You would probably tell me that this looks how you want it to look. But truth be told, it's not quite. Because I've just broken your model. Because in all the other animations, now his weapon's in the wrong hand. You see that? It's super wrong. It's just not right at all. Maybe you could use that stand ready. Probably not, though. And even if you go, and we can do this if we go to edit animations mode, you can go in here and you can delete the old stand ready. Delete, sorry. Yeah. You can set also delete keyframes. And you can delete all that. So you just have stand. Right? Still, we have a not good stand. Because he thinks he's holding it, but it doesn't really look like it's holding it, you know? So a lot of times if I do a transfer like this, I just transfer it all at once. Because this kind of looks bad, you know? Even the portrait might be questionable. I'm not really sure. It's a little bit hard to say. And this Blade Master animation, I don't know. There's a couple things wrong with it. Really. I'm not so worried about that. Most of the time I'm looking at this one right here. So, we've kind of accomplished your goal, but we damaged the rest of the model in the process. So you got to ask yourself, what are you going to do about that? You know? Are you going to fix this the hard way or the easy way? Because there's definitely some different ways to fix it. Because, I mean, we've got these attack animations. They're pretty much exactly what you're saying you want. Right? It's like exactly from Uruk Warleader. And that's pretty much exactly what you're saying. Sorry, that was attack 1. It wasn't. Yeah, so we've got that in there. But, really, all these other stand animations don't look good. You want, you know, we want that hammer to be back where it used to be. So, one option, really, and this is pretty silly, but I think it would get the job done, would be that you could just make a second hammer fixed to his other hand. You actually can't change dynamically which hand something is fixed onto. So because our source material for this animation was designed with the intent in mind that his axe would be fixed to his left hand. But really, we want everything else to have the axe fixed on his right hand. What you can do is you can just hide the axe and show a different axe. Right? And there's precedent for this idea. I didn't come up with that idea. If you look at the grunt, and you look at stand 3? No, stand victory. In stand victory, the grunt throws his axe. Okay, now, this isn't actually physically possible. From what I just told you, the movement of the axe, if it's affixed to his hand, is always affixed to his hand. So the way that he's able to accomplish this is actually with 2 axes. Right? So like if you go to that animation, and we actually go to the editor here, and you look at what's happening, you can see in these displays, he actually has 2 axes. One affixed to his hand, which then disappears and unloads, and a second one, which flies up behind him. Right? So like I can hide the second one that flies up behind him, and then the previewer of the animation here is smart enough to hide and show the other axe. But if you see in the actual editor views, it doesn't go anywhere, right? It's just hiding temporarily while the other axe appears and disappears. And you could do the reverse, too. We could find this axe, you could hide that, and then only show the moving axe from behind him. Right? So what we want to do is basically pull that same trick in the Hammerhead Executor. So that we're just going to switch what axe is showing to be the axe for these animations versus the axe for the other animations. That way, it'll just look good in all the animations. But you can have it affixed to the right hand when you want it on the right hand, the left hand when you want it on the left hand. So let's do that. Okay, now in order to do that, let's make another backup. I like backups. I hate losing work. Okay, we got another backup. Now we're gonna do that same import we did before, but we're gonna import from the one you gave me to the new one that we created. And we're gonna take the axe off of the guy that I was given and put it in the new one, so we can hide and show the two different axes. Because the one I was given is great axe. It's exactly what we want. So we'll choose that file and click OK. And it says up here, we're importing Hammerhead Executor into Hammerhead Executor new attack 2, right? That's just exactly what we want. But we got to be really particular about how much we import. So let's turn off the animation editor by just clicking vertex editor up here. That's pretty good. There's also a scary lot of vertices down here. That's really scary. I don't know why those are there. And I don't like it. You're worrying me here. Because either my tool's broken or something's not right with the model. And I do not know which. But let's leave it be. So far the model looks good. And I don't have the texture to test it with. But as far as I can see, it still looks good. So we'll assume that's not an issue for the time being. For the time being, I don't know. And let's import that axe. So what I was going to say with the axe is we want to figure out which portions of the guy are the axe and which portions are not, right? So all this stuff, this is his body, this is his head, that's his shield on his back, those are his legs. Now that's the axe, that's the axe, that's the axe, that's the axe, that's the axe. That is not the axe, that's like a hammer on his back, and that's his actual back. So as you can see, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, those are the axe. What does that mean? That means we can click leave all here in our combination of the original into our custom one. But we'll go ahead and get 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 right here. See? Unfortunately, we got to click them one by one because I didn't make a group select on this one because I was pretty lazy when I first built this and I didn't go back and fix it. But we did that. We got 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Now, we're not adding any animation sequences, right? So we don't really need to do that. Then again, let's do it anyway. Let's do it anyway. Let's do import all, actually. This is an unfortunate complication the way things are. Anywhere that the axe used to move, it used to be relative to that like fulcrum center point thing that we moved, right? Because we moved that, if we bring in just the geometry of the old axe, it's going to be moving still relative to his left hand. That's super bad. And if we move in just that point, but we don't bring in the animations of how that little point moves around his right hand, then it would just sit statically in his right hand. That's not going to look good either. So I guess what we actually do want is we want to have that little point in his right hand. We're going to bring that in and have all of its animations be brought in also, but relative to where they were before, right? We're not making a new attack 2. We're just going to blend with the existing ones. So to that end, let's click time scale all. And what time scale means with these animations is that we will not make a new stand 2 animation in our result model file. We're just going to take anything that used to be in stand 2, any animation information that used to be in stand 2 and what we're importing in, we're going to stick in stand 2 of our guy where we're putting it, right? We're doing a time scale of wherever that used to be, in this case exactly the same place, into our new guy in exactly the same place. So that's good. It's all really good, except my automatic system here doesn't really figure out stand ready very well, and there's 2 stand readies, right? Or there's really 3. There's the original, there's the one that appears to have been badly imported off of a Blade Master, and there's the one that I added from the Uruk-hai. So we actually want to ignore the one from the Uruk-hai and leave that how it is. For the sake of helping Max to keep his original work, we want to import the one from the badly imported Blade Master animation. And then from the very original, we deleted that so we don't have to worry about it. So for this first one, which is the original, we can uncheck the box, just delete it, we don't worry about it. for this one, which is the second one in what we're importing. So this is the badly imported Blade Master one. We want to put that as the first in our new model, because in the new model, the second one is the Uruk-hai, and the first one is Blade Master, right? So I will put the first on here. If I were to click here, it would be overriding the data for the Uruk-hai animation. We want to keep that exactly how it is. So put that on this right here, and that's good, right? That's pretty good. Now we got to worry about attack 1 and attack 2. For those, just don't import them. Same deal. So attack 1 and attack 2 stand ready from the Uruk-hai. We're just going to leave those be. Totally leaving them be. No imported merging data going on there at all. Now we're going to go to the bones. Okay? Now this is way easier than it was before. You know why? I'm just going to click leave all. Just get rid of all of it. Except the sword. Right? We've got to keep the sword. So we'll change that back to import this sword. And now, it used to be we're using the center check chooser. And the center chooser is choosing, if I want to do an animation transfer, what do I transfer it into? But that's not what we're doing anymore. We're actually adding something, right? As opposed to motion to a pre-existing model, like the motion of the sword, like we did with the Uruk-hai, like the motion of the Uruk-hai to the pre-existing hammerhead executor. Instead of that, we're going to import this sword entirely. So, like, it's going to be there, and the old sword's going to be there. 2 swords, right? So import it. And we are going to link it to the character's right hand, which is my left hand, and it's labeled flipped in this one, so it'll be my left. So arm to L, which is what it used to be linked to, but I broke it while I was making the new animations. So we'll stick that sword on arm 2L. Right, just exactly like we want right there. That's good. And that should get us the animations we want. Now in this case, we want to double check the matrices tab. When I click leave all in these importing these bones, it's actually really dangerous, because when you change this to do not import and back to import on the sword, typically that actually nukes the contents of the matrices. So that anything that was linked to the sword isn't anymore, because for during the time that you weren't importing it, the new weapon could not be linked to that animation data because it wasn't there temporarily. We turned it off and back on again. That's a design flaw in how I built this tool, and it's bad. But there's a second design flaw. There's sometimes when you lose that data, it comes back. So right now it came back, and if you're worried that it didn't come back, just click this reset all matrices button, and that just resets it back. And that way, whenever I click sword in one of these, it shows that the old reference of sword references a new sword, and that's exactly how it should be. Like, just leave it how it is, right? Now in the Objects tab, we'll just leave all that. We don't care about any of that. Like the attachment points, they're probably good as they were. Actually, they're not. I guess we have a problem with the attachment points, don't we? We really do. We really do have a problem with the attachment points. What if this guy picks up an orb? Which of these 2 swords, one of which is invisible, does the orb attach to? That's a problem. And I think it's a problem we can fix. But I'm getting skeptical about how we could fix it. So let's go ahead and import the attachment weapon to the new sword. No, I have 2 weapons. One on the old sword, one on the new sword. That's kind of dumb. We're going to have to do something to fix that. We'll do something to fix that. Here's what we're going to do. Here in the visibility tab, this is key, right? This is really key. Now there are 2 swords. Now we know the sword is 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Those 5 geosets. And there are now 2 copies of it. So this shows 2 copies of it, right? The Hammerhead Executor new attack, our new guy that we made. And there's 5 of those. And the original guy, and there's 5 of those. And I made it a different color, so you could tell orange means new data, green means old data. It was already there. So I have these 2 copies, and we got to make them appear and disappear at all the right times. Normally that'd be really hard, but in this case it won't be, because instead of that being hard, what you can do is you can refer to the existing animations and the imported animations. Now we're importing in animations over top of everything that was already there, except the Uruk Hai animations, which in this case are considered to be already there, right? Because we're starting from the guy with the new attack. So anywhere that we refer to imported animations, it's referring to the ones we're importing in from the very original Hammerhead executor I was given. Anywhere we refer to existing, we're referring to all the animations, including the Uruk Hai. However, there's a checkbox for whether you use the original source material or the alternative source material. Now, if you get that checkbox set just right, you can tell it that for everything we're importing in Hammerhead Executor, for all those animations that used to be there when I was given the model, we'll section those off in one category, and we'll section off the Uruk Hai animations in the other category. Because when they would overlap, when both models have the animation, we've got to choose one or the other, and we can use this checkbox to make sure we always choose one. And effectively, we got it sectioned off. So it's just Uruk Hai animations and everything else. So that's really simple in the case of the thing we're importing in, because you can just say in the existing animations it's not visible. So I'm going to add a new sword. I'm adding this new axe. It's called sword in there, but it's an axe. We're adding a new axe, and anywhere that it's an imported animation, it'll use what it already had. Anywhere it's an existing animation, it'll be not visible. And all the ones where we're stitching them together and there's a clash, we'll use the components original. What is the components original of that axe? Being visible, being there in the original model I was given, the component original, specific to that axe. So this means that even though I chose not visible in all existing animations, and our Hammerhead Executor new attack, that guy, he had all the animations, every single one. Not visible will be ignored in the case of the clashes, when there's two animations going into one, and it'll instead use his original one for that same animation, because we're merging animations. Because in the animations tab, we chose timescale, which is this merge function, right? So that's good, and that does exactly what we want for the axe that we imported. There's a second axe, though. This one, okay? Now, what we can say is we can say the second axe will not be visible in the imported animations. However, that's only going to work if we say that when it clashes, because doing this clash, we're stitching animations together, we're not going to favor its original component visibility. So that means that axe was visible originally in all the animations. It was visible just all of them, except maybe like decay or whatever. But pretty much all the animations. But now, we're not choosing when it has a clash, we're not choosing what it originally was in those animations. We're choosing what it wasn't, which in this case would be the not visible category, the imported animation not visible. So that's going to make that disappear. So we've effectively created this thing where it's sectioned off, and the two different axes appear and disappear at the two different times, right? Just like you want. The other place where this goes wrong is the weapon ref. So you got to do the same thing here. The old one, make it not visible, don't favor. The new one, make it not visible and existing. It's the exact same settings as I put on these guys, right? So we do that, and click finish. Now, look at this magic. The stand animation right there, it looks just like it used to. It's just, I reset it completely. I got walk, I got death, I got decay flesh, I got decay bone, I use the portrait talk, and all these animations. He has his right-handed axe just exactly how he should. And then stand ready, this badly imported one, it looks the same as it did before. I don't know why nobody fixed that, but that's how it is. And then we got attack 1. And in attack 1 and attack 2, his axe is now relative to his left hand. It's centered on his left hand. But you know what? It's pretty okay. So for the most part, we fixed it. So let's save this model as Hammerhead Executor Final. And I'll be able to give this back to Max, right? But that's not all. We want to make sure those attachment points work, because I probably broke them, right? If I pick up an orb of fire, which axe does it attach to? I don't know. So let's check that out. This guy uses several textures that I don't have. But we should be able to edit them to probably be... Oh, it's not human priest. Really? Okay. Textures priest. There we go. We could probably just edit it to more or less be something that'll load. It probably won't look good. Really? Okay. There we go. Something that'll load. I don't know. It's going to look bad, and it's going to look horrible. But we just want to see those attachment points. So, now I fixed the textures so I can actually see the thing. Obviously, it looks terrible. Looks really terrible. Actually, let's try, like, footman. I don't know. What texture is this supposed to be? I probably won't find it. It's probably custom. Really? Is the texture still in? Probably not that. Oh, that looks great. Okay, there you go. There you go. So, I don't have the original textures, but this is a good replacement for now. Right? So we're just going to use this temporary version because Max didn't send me a texture. And we're going to save this as Retera test. Okay? And we're going to put that in the world editor. Never you mind what map I had open before. We'll just make a new map. We'll put that in the world editor. Okay? Documents, Warcraft, models, quests, max, Retera test right here. And this is going to be a map. This is called Hammerhead Soldier. That's not the name of it, but I'm forgetting. Test map. Okay, great. What is it actually called? Executor. Hammerhead Executor. I called it Soldier. I'm sorry. Okay. And now, we're going to give the footman an inventory. Sorry, that was a typo. We give the footman an inventory and we'll make the footman use this model. Here we go. There. We'll get a couple of these, and we'll give them an orb of fire. Now, I'm going to have to apologize. When I click test to see if this works, it's actually quite likely that the game will start on the wrong monitor or disappear or something like that, and all you guys will see is blackness. No, actually it worked fine. Okay. Except that there aren't any footmen. There's a reason for that. I accidentally had the green player select. I was looking at green team color. That's ridiculous. Okay. So we'll just fix that, and we'll check it out. And the really important question here is when he does stand ready, does the orb of fire disappear, right? Because if he did, I broke it. No, I should fix it.
Right. Aye, my lord.
Or maybe the orb of fire just doesn't appear at all.
Attack!
Oh yeah, so you can see here, the orb of fire only shows during stand ready. And we gotta do something about that Blade Master animation. That's pretty bad.
Aye,
We
my
gotta do
lord.
something about the
On my
Blade Master
way.
animation. But,
Right.
as you can see,
Aye, my lord.
the way that that thing shows up is super wrong. It almost looks like it's loaded the visibility opposite what it should be. Like it's attaching to the first weapon using the visibility of the second.
Of course.
And that's kind of blowing my mind why I would do that. So, when I encounter something that I don't know how it works, I always just save as an MDL file. Those are great because they're text-based. And then you can read them, which to me is pretty much the greatest thing ever. Someday I'm going to be fluent in MDL, but Not yet. So, we're going to go to the model. We're going to go to requests. We're going to go max. We're going to go to Retera test. Now, open on the wrong monitor over here. So, let's bring that over so we can see it. Maybe we'll zoom out just a little bit. So, this is our guy. And if I do a search here for weapon ref, you can see the first one is hidden on almost everything. Alright? It's hidden on almost everything. This is just going to be 232, 233, and 235. It just shows up. The second one disappears on 232, 233, and 235. That is backwards. Honestly, I did it backwards. Why did I do it backwards? I don't know if this is like my code failing or something. So think about it, right? The first one is already there. No, that's right. That's right. That's right. The first one that's already there is on the one we changed. So it's correct. The game is just loading it wrong. And that is really hard to fix. Here's what we might be able to do. Let's call this one weapon second. I don't know. Sometimes things need unique names. You know? A lot of times when people build this kind of technology, they do it in a way that needs a unique name. Retera test 2. I'll make it a binary. And put it in the world editor. Now I gotta scroll back to that models folder. Retera test 2. Okay. There you go. Let's try it in game. We have two different ones, weapon second. That might help us. Might not.
Yes, my liege.
Alright, well that's not correct yet.
Attack!
Although it might be starting to be correct. And the attacking, I don't know, I'm not very convinced. I'm not very convinced that orbital fire is going in the right place. So, one question you could ask yourself is, do you care? But what if you do?
Aye, my lord. Right. Attack! Of course. On my way. Let me
Well,
at 'em.
we'll do that in another video because I think this is starting to waste your time. So, this is our current step 1. Alright? Now, if you wanted this model to look really good, here's just a quick heads up. What I would probably do is I would go to this stand ready, the one from the Blade Master, and I would delete it because it doesn't look good. And the visibility is not right and his body shows up. Right? It just doesn't look good. And the sword is floating. But that's just a matter of personal opinion. So there you go. Those are my tips for you on this today. And I hope it helped.